It's Wednesday today, and that means it is another awesome, wonderful episode of Merlo's Movie Massacre, episode 19 coming at you, folks. I can't believe we made it this far, but we have, and I'm so happy to still be doing this show for you guys. Do say hi in the chat if we got some chatters already. I hope we do, but if not, I'll just blabber on a little bit myself. Hopefully you guys are all having an awesome week. I know we're changing around our days and all that kind of stuff, but we're here. Gonna do it on Sunday every week. You never know which day I'm gonna actually do this on. Kanisha Bradley, hey, how you doing? Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Because we've had technical issues over the last few weeks. I looked back at last week's video and I had like choppy video. I don't know if that was a issue with OBS or I don't know. That's the first time we've seen that, so hopefully that's all good tonight. Hey, Heather Loves Horror is in the chat as well. Speaking of which, I'm doing an interview with her tomorrow on her channel, on her podcast, and I look forward to doing that. I'm not sure when that's going to air, because I don't believe it's live, but tomorrow morning I'm going to be doing an awesome interview talking about my film, The Sawyer Massacre, and I see that Brett Man from Good Real Hunting is also here. Brett, I'm sure it's Brett. It could be Brad, but it's probably Brett. We love you, man. I love you. Either one of you I love, but it typically says Brad if it is. And Hilly Billy Man's in the chat as well. Hope all is well in Sawyerland. Oh, man, so much going on there, guys. So much happening. I really can't wait to reveal some of the new stuff that's happening. Our new trailer that we're working on. It's looking great. We still have a few more shots we got to get for it, though. So we're looking to film that probably next weekend. Film just a couple extra little shots that are just going to make it awesome. Super awesome. It's already looking pretty awesome, though. So, yeah. Just want to give a shout out to Michelle from Breathless Beauties again. I don't think she's going to make the chat today. It's pretty late over there on the East Coast, but I believe Brett Man actually you did an order with her. So these are the horror themed dolls she does. Breathless Beauties. Her links are in the description, so if you want to hook up with her, do so. Do so. Pretty cool. I love the Leatherface. That's my favorite one. Because I'm a Leatherface kind of guy. The original Leatherface, anyways. I feel like my volume might be a little loud. At least it looks like I'm peaking a bit. Hope I'm not. I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit. Hopefully I'm still loud enough for you guys. Let me know. Michelle Halloween. I don't believe that's Michelle Blasky, but maybe she changed her name. I don't think it is so. I think this is a new chatter. Do we have a new chatter in the house? Michelle Halloween. Are you new? Are you new? And Joe from Fangoria Faithful. Wow, you guys are here already. Thank you guys so much. Like I was just talking about Michelle at Breathless Beauties. She does awesome work. Definitely go. Make sure you check out her links are in the description for both her Facebook and Instagram, and free shipping in the U.S. So if that's where you're based out of, you get free shipping. There you go. You can't beat that. And it's awesome stuff. I know Halloween is a ways away, but horror themed dolls are good year round. And Brett, you'll probably agree with me on this, but I think that crow one might be good for a certain somebody we know. That's also a YouTube content creator. I know somebody who's in the YouTube community that loves The Crow. Just saying. So yes, Michelle, you are new. That's good stuff. Thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. It's going to be a fun little chat. Please do make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down right about there. Right about there, somewhere-ish. I appreciate the support. The support has been so awesome from you guys. It means so much for a guy like me who just loves movies. and loves horror and is excited to be making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film. Very, very excited. Really hope that COVID is going to let me shoot this thing in Texas, because I just got to shoot this thing in Texas. By the way, I've hooked up with a bunch of people in Texas that are going to find me a good location. A great location for the house that we need. That's going to be Grandpa Sawyer's house. It's going to be, I just can't wait. I found a good area where I just know everything's coming together, and sent some scouts some examples, and it's sounding very positive. I have a feeling like within the next week or two, we'll have a house nailed down. So that's pretty exciting. Brett says he knows exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah. You got to talk to we're all in the same group chat and everything. I should say something to him. That's awesome. Anyways, all that kind of fun stuff aside, yes, excited. I'm very excited that Heather Loves Horror is in the chat, because I'm super, super excited to chat with you tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, check out her channel too. Like and subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And same with all you guys, like and subscribe to each other if you can. Good Real Hunting is another great channel. I always give praise to guys like Jason Nike. Last night, Nika Lou was on Jason Nike's channel. She did an awesome job. It was cool here talking about the Sawyer Massacre. In case you guys don't know, Nika Lou is playing Allison in the Sawyer Massacre, which is pretty much the female lead of the movie. Not pretty much, she is the female lead. It's just that our main protagonist is actually a guy in the Sawyer Massacre. It's not the typical final girl trope, but she is kind of still a final girl. So that's, yeah. But I can't give too many details. I don't want to give it all away. But yeah, there you go. Let's move on to tonight's topic. Lots to talk about here, guys. So many exciting projects coming out this year. Probably, COVID permitting, of course. I don't know how many of these films are actually going to be shown in theater. I do believe Brett has seen the first one we'll talk about first. I know you had kind of a mixed reaction to it. I never know. So we'll talk about it. So this just came out. Did it? And it came out in a theater, Brett? You actually watched this in a theater, as I recall? I don't know where the theaters are open and where they're closed. And I don't know. It kind of sucks, but hopefully all the theaters are going to open up soon. Anyways, so yes, Brett, you can give me the most feedback on this, and that's the new Wrong Turn film. So I'm not sure if this is like a total remake or if it's just kind of a reboot of the franchise. Would it be Wrong Turn 7 or 8 or I have no idea how many they've made. They've made quite a few. I don't know exactly. I think they've made like 7, haven't they? Or 6. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've only seen the first one. So I hope you guys don't hate on me for that, because I know that the Wrong Turn franchise is fairly popular. I'll be honest, I probably only watched the first one because back in those days, I don't know, was that 2001, 2002? Can't remember. I was a young lad, and I did have a bit of a crush on that main girl. I can't even remember her name from the first one. Put it in the chat if you guys do know, if you guys can tell me. Because I can't remember her name now. I've gotten too old. I'm like 20 years older than I was then. Not fun. I don't like getting old. Yeah, okay, so Brett gave this a 3.5 out of 5. 3.5. Was out yesterday and is out on Saturday at select theaters, with more thinking and discussing. I actually like it now and gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, that's not a bad score. It's like a 7 out of 10. Okay, I thought you sounded like in the chat yesterday, Brett, you sounded like you didn't really like it that much. It was more like maybe a 5 out of 10 at best. Which Eliza Dushku, yes, very good, very good. Both of you, both Brett and Heather, got it for me at the exact same time. Thank you so much, guys. I needed that. My brain is not what it once was. Yes, I had a pretty big crush on her back then. I had a crush on a lot of celebrities back then. Who else was there back then? There was Jessica Alba was big. That I liked anyways. So many people, I can't remember their names because I'm getting too damn old. That's what happens. Used to remember everybody's names, and now I can't remember nobody. I remember their faces, though. You show me their face, I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's that chick, Anyways, is this a reboot? Is this a remake? Is it just another sequel? It didn't seem like it was just another sequel. It seemed like it was at least some sort of a reboot. Like maybe none of the other sequels existed and just the original and now this one. I don't know. Again, I've only seen the first one, so yeah, I didn't mind it. I just didn't. I'm just wasn't a huge fan at the end of the day. Wasn't a huge fan. But I didn't hate it or nothing. It just didn't feel like I needed to see any more of those movies after seeing the first one. It was because to me it was just meh. A little bit tropey for me, anyways. It was kind of like I guess it kind of reminded me of The Hills Have Eyes. I guess it's very similar to that, and kind of borders along any of these sort of backwoods types of hillbilly movies, I guess you could say. And that's all good, but it just give me something different with them, Just it was all right though. I mean, at the end of the day, I like those types of movies, but I want them to show me something a little different. I don't know. First one was great, and with all the sequels, they do their best. But like Freddy, they got funnier and so they got a little. I know what you're saying, Joe. I know what you're saying. Makeup was great in the original Wrong Turn. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. Again, it's been a long time. I remember watching it. Felt like okay, it's kind of fun. I feel like I've seen it many times before. I don't know. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Are you guys excited to see the new Wrong Turn film? Brett was kind of but you like it more as you thought about it. Like for me, a 7 out of 10. If I get a 7 out of 10 out of any new film, I'm actually pretty happy. That's all I can really hope for. I haven't really seen many new horror films that I could rate that high. Unfortunately, I am a bit of a tough critic, but basically like 5 out of 10, I can at least 5 out of 10. I can at least say, okay, it's good. But once I hit like 7 out of 10, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this a little bit more. I could see myself coming back to it at some point. Yeah. Watching it again at some point, and then when we get into like 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10, then those are movies that I pretty much love and I'll watch all the time. There's no such thing as a 10 out of 10 for me though, because that means perfection, and I just think perfect is something that doesn't really exist. There's always some sort of imperfections. I can find flaws, even in my most favorite film of all time. I can point out flaws. I can point out little things that'd be like, didn't love that part of it, but the rest of it, there's always something. They won't make a big dent, but it's something. I always can find something. There's no such thing as perfect. Anyways, should move on. Bored of talking about Wrong Turn already, you know. But if you guys love it, that's great too. I see you guys are chatting, so that's good. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. Please let me know if you guys have any questions for me too. Feel free to ask in the chat as well. Just want to make sure you guys know that. You guys can ask me anything about anything. Doesn't have to be about horror. It can be about what I like to eat for breakfast, or what kind of shampoo I use, if I use any at all. Don't talk to my wife. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat a little bit. I like to read you guys' chats as much as I possibly can. We got quite a few of you guys tonight, though, so I'm going to probably not hit everybody, but try to read your guys' chats. But we got a few movies I want to talk about here, so yeah. Wrong Turn 2021, VOD release in February. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Surprise. Oh, sorry, I missed Hilly Billy Man. Surprise they haven't made a Hills Have Eyes versus Wrong Turn. You know, and I could see that that's one horror universe I could probably actually get behind, because they're so much the same. They're so similar. I could actually probably get behind that. I'm against every other horror universe combination. I didn't like Freddy versus Jason. I don't like the idea of Michael Myers versus Leatherface, or Chucky versus Pinhead, or anything like that. But if there was one I could see actually working, that would be one. Just saying. Just chatting there. Hillbilly, that's interesting for sure. I'm still waiting for Jason versus Freddy versus Ash. Well, Joe, I don't know. I love you, man, but I don't like that idea. It's not for me, I guess. And you know what? Not every film is for everybody. What else we got? Hello, sorry I'm late. Oh, Mandy Cantone is in the house. Oh, don't worry about being late. Never ever worry about being late. It's all good. Better late than never. Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, Mandy Cantone. What shampoo do you use, Steve? Is Head and Shoulders is a brand, right? Yes. For flaky, dandruffy, itchy scalp. And then my wife says to me, but Steve, you don't have dandruff. I'm like, I know. Sure, some of you are too young to get that, because that was like an early 90s commercial for Head and Shoulders. But if you're my age, you'll remember that one. Just chatting with each other. Hilly Billy Man uses Irish Spring. Yeah, that's good. Okay, moving right along then. What else is coming out this year? There's a few interesting movies. Okay, so we got apparently A Quiet Place 2 is also coming out this year. COVID permitting, of course. I've seen the first one. I saw the first one not right when it came out, but I saw it in, I think Netflix, or maybe it was Amazon. Amazon Prime. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. We have both of those, and we have Disney Plus as well. I don't think it came out on Disney Plus though. Did it? No. Did it? Maybe. I don't know. Man. Mandy got it. Okay, well, you seem fairly young. I've only seen pictures of you. You look like you're definitely younger than me. And I was like 11 or 12 when that commercial was popular. Maybe 13 at the most. So anyways. They've delayed that forever. What, A Quiet Place 2? Have they really? Or are we talking something else? I don't know. I just know it says that it's coming out this year. I have been hearing stuff about it. I know a lot of stuff has been delayed because of COVID. A lot of these films were supposed to come out last year, and they didn't because of COVID. And now we're getting the releases, but like Wrong Turn's got this limited release. I don't know. Is it really going to make a lot of money? I don't know. It's a dark time for big blockbuster movies. They're going to have to find ways to have smaller budgets. Probably. Unless everything just goes back to normal and we'll just forget about that COVID ever happened. Hopefully the vaccine will be just great and the roses will be red, the violets will be blue, and the butterflies will be flying, and fairies and pixie dust and all that stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about now. Anyways, A Quiet Place 2. Interesting, so as far as when it comes to the first Quiet Place, I liked it. I didn't love it like I hoped I would. I liked it. I'd probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10. The majority of why I would rank it so high is mostly because the acting was pretty darn good in that movie. The fact that everybody had to more or less be physical actors and, do their performances with their facial expressions and all that kind of stuff, which is something I can really, really appreciate, because obviously they couldn't do a lot of talking in that movie. We get why, and it works. That part of it really works for me. What doesn't work for me in A Quiet Place was some of the unrealistic stuff that happened, like right off the bat, that when the little kid gets killed. I mean, why are they leaving him so far behind him? What, like, why would you let your little kid be like 200-300 feet lagging behind you? I would never let that happen, especially, I wouldn't let that happen today in the world we live in now with my daughter. I would never let that happen in that type of world, which it means death. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, boy, that is idiocy. How am I going to root for these people when they made such a stupid mistake? It bugged me. It definitely was one of the elements that bugged me. And then the fact that they get pregnant, like, I don't know, maybe not, it wasn't right after, I can't remember, but it was like, like now you get pregnant? Are you kidding me? In this world, you're going to bring a newborn baby who's going to scream and shout, and it's unavoidable? I don't know. So those elements bring it down for me, that's for sure. If it didn't have those, you have the makings of something. It could have been great. Also didn't care too much for the CGI creatures, whatever they weren't my favorite, but I can let that pass. That's a pretty small nitpick compared to the other two. But like, this could have been an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for me, but instead it's a 6 out of 10 because of those things that bug me. I wish I could go and remake the movie, and but I can't. I won't. I'm not passionate about that premise enough to ever want to remake it, that's for sure. But hopefully the new one will not have those same kinds of flaws in it. And if it doesn't, I could see myself liking it a lot more. But at the same time, it's going to have to deliver something new and interesting in order for me to be invested in it, because you can't just do the same movie again. You can't. You gotta deliver something a little bit different. It could be a twist of some kind. Where did these creatures come from? Maybe I don't know. It's you're gonna have to do something to up it a little bit, because otherwise, you're just remaking the same movie without those flaws, and that's it's not enough for me. I don't know. So that's my thoughts on it. What did you guys think of A Quiet Place? Those I like, again, the acting was really good. The premise to me is a good premise. It's just those little story points that bug me. That's just me, though. It could be, because I know a lot of people loved it. I think did anybody win an Oscar for that film? Was it like nominated or at least nominated? I don't even know. Typically, horror movies don't get nominated very much. So I thought I heard something about some part. Either it was the screenplay got nominated, or best director, or maybe Emily Blunt for best actress. I don't know. Anyways, moving on, because that's only the second movie we've talked about, and some of these movies I actually want to talk about more because there's some intrigue. So let's move on. Next one I saw is kind of similar for me anyways. Don't Breathe 2, coming out sometime. Maybe. COVID permitting. I kind of feel the same way about Don't Breathe as I do with A Quiet Place. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think there was potential for greatness, and it just didn't quite get there because of certain story elements in similar fashion. You know, it's yeah. So could this be good? Sure. Again, it had the first Don't Breathe had really good acting. That's one thing I can say for the most part. Had good acting and a good premise. It's just the execution of that premise and little story bits that kind of bothered me. And I don't want to get into it too much, but it definitely wasn't scary for me. I mean, it could have been scary for me. There were parts of the film that I felt like it could have been I could have been a lot more scared with the way that they were shot, that they were actually shot really well, had I been more invested in the characters that it would be scary for. Because I was kind of not liking any of the characters right off the bat, it falls short. I didn't really feel for the actual characters, the way these characters were written. Even the female lead there. I can't remember her name, but you know, it's if there was any that you could care for, it was probably her. But at the end of the day, all three of them were bad kids. We're doing something bad. They're robbing somebody, and I don't know. I can't really get behind that too much. I get her position a little bit, but at the same time, it didn't quite work for me. It's a tough one for me to even talk about. But at the end of the day, I mean, I still enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It's about a 6 out of 10, just like A Quiet Place is for me. But I know a lot of people love Don't Breathe. And I've heard that the new one, they're really going to kind of go they are going to take it a little different, where they're going to make the old blind guy, more so the protagonist in this one. Which he kind of felt like a protagonist in the other one too, a little bit. But, you know, I don't know. He felt like the good guy, and I mean, at the end of the day, he was the good guy, and these guys were robbing him, you know. So, anyways, yeah. Guessing he seeks revenge in part 2, yeah. And hopefully he gets it. That would be good. But again, I just don't know. Is it going to be scary though? What's going to be scary about it? If there's a new villain in this one, supposedly, then who is the villain, and am I going to be scared of the villain? I don't know. I don't know enough about it at this time. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for Don't Breathe 2? I'm not really, but, you know, I'll probably see it at some point. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, the first one didn't really excite me, but you know, a sequel might. It might. We'll see. We'll see what the reviews are like. I don't know, and what the trailer is like too. That's something I always watch the trailer just to see if it's gonna get me. And you know, if it does, great. Then I'll go watch it. If not, I'll be like, to the next one. All right, what do we got next here? Let's talk about this. Okay. So I guess the new Conjuring movie is coming out. Yeah, the new Conjuring movie. New Conjuring. These movies are not made for me, guys. I'm just going to be honest right off the bat. The Conjuring movies are not for me. I don't want to say it's because of how they're made. It's really just because these types of horror movies just aren't my style. Demonic, possession, ghosts, all that stuff. It just those things don't do it for me. But they do it for a lot of people. So, I mean, I guess Conjuring fans are going to be excited about this. It's just I won't see it. I saw the first Conjuring, I saw the first Insidious, and I was like, I'm done. I don't need to see any more of those movies. They're not for me. I know that they're not for me. I didn't see any of the Annabelle movies because I just wasn't intrigued enough, and I don't find that the way they made Annabelle the doll look very scary, in my opinion. I honestly think the actual Raggedy Ann design is much scarier, in my opinion. I know it's simple, but there's something creepy. I've always found something creepy about a Raggedy Ann doll. There just is. It's just, to me, it is. It's one of those things that goes back to my childhood. I remember seeing Raggedy Ann dolls and thinking they look freaky. But the fact that they made this Annabelle doll completely different than what it actually is, and I just don't find it looking scary. I don't know. I feel like they're trying too hard to make it look scary. I think that's where a lot of these big blockbuster type movies fall short for me. They try too hard. They put all this money into research and blah blah blah. Oh, this looks scary, and so we got to do this and that. And I think no. Keep it simple, people. Keep it simple. That's just my opinion. Anyways, yeah, that's all I can really say about the Conjuring, the 3. I don't think I'll see it. I don't think I will. I didn't see the second one, and like I said, I didn't see any of the Annabelle movies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Just don't plan on seeing them. It's just not my type of movie. Ghosts and goblins and demon possession. I like The Exorcist, but I don't find it scary. And I think it is kind of an overrated movie. I know that's blasphemic to a lot of people, but, at the end of the day, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't scare me. That kind of stuff just doesn't scare me. It is what it is. And I hope you guys won't hate on me for that. I know it's a similar type of movie, but it's not a movie I go back to. I have gone back to The Exorcist a couple times, and I do enjoy it. More for the acting performances than anything else. But yeah, I mean, you guys saw if you guys were online when I did my top 10 horror films and probably saw that there was no Exorcist on it, probably a lot of people would have been like, whoa, no Exorcist. That's why it's just these types of horror movies just don't do it for me. They don't do it for me. They do it for a lot of other people. I'm definitely in the minority. So that's all I'll say about that. Again, at the end of the day, if I have a good story, I'm still going to enjoy the movie. And that's why I still like The Exorcist. Because at the end of the day, I have good characters and a good story. So I like the movie. But it doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me at all. None of that types of demon possession stuff scares me. Yeah. That's all I can say about that. Not hating on it. It's just not for me. Another one, not really for me either. And that's the Candyman new reboot. Now, I believe I've only seen the original for this one as well. I may have seen a sequel. I mean, these are older. I remember seeing Candyman growing up and all that, but I can't really remember if I saw any more than one. Again, not really my type of film. But I love Tony Todd. Mostly because I'm a bit of a Star Trek nerd, and I loved him as Worf's brother Kern. I know I'm nerding out here now. I love me some Star Trek: The Next Generation. I don't know. Is Tony Todd a part of this? Is he playing Candyman in this new one? Because he's got to be pretty old now. He's got to be around, I'd guess, around 70, around there, anyways. Late 60s, maybe 70. I don't know. Love him though. I do think he's he's one of those actors. You've seen him in a few things, and you're like, geez, why don't I see this guy in more stuff? I don't know why I don't see him in more stuff, because he is actually really good. But but I've seen him in this and Star Trek and a few other things. But yeah, so I mean, I might be interested to see it if he was coming back. If he wasn't, I probably won't. I bet Tony Todd is barely in the new. Is he supposed to be in it at all? I didn't check for that. I should have checked IMDb for that kind of stuff. And what did Joe say here? I'd rather watch the actual stories the movies are based on. Real life's always scarier. Too much CGI ruins any movie, especially for horror movies. Yeah, CGI and horror, I don't know. But I guess it's more for ghosts and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, apparently the whole real life Conjuring, what it's based off, was a big sham. Was a big fraud. That's what I've heard. I guess they never fully proved it, but it was a fraud. It is a fraud. Those guys were frauds, and now they got movies being made about them that doesn't make them look like frauds. I don't know if I really agree with that. They're frauds. The real life Conjuring people, I don't know I can't remember their real names for the life of me, but they're frauds. Anyways, just like the Amityville horror people, the Lut family, the Lutz or Lut, yeah, they were frauds. They were frauds. But the movies made a lot of money. Yeah. Anyways, what do we else we got? Love the first Candyman. The theme song is creepy as. I gotta watch it again. It's been so long. I don't know. Rumors are Tony Todd was barely in the new one. They had some test screenings last year before COVID hit. Interesting. If it's done for a good reason, I can understand, though. But it just seems like Tony Todd is someone you don't want to underuse. But it could still work. I don't know. We'll see if it's done well. Moving on here. Geez, it's already 8:40, and I just want to talk about so many of these movies. So this is like a spin-off of Saw, if I'm not mistaken. Spin-off, reboot, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's Spiral. And Saw is another one of those movies where I saw the first 3, and I just didn't feel the need to see any more after that. Because I kind of felt like it was getting redundant. I've talked about Saw in the past. I do love the first one. It made my top endings when I did my ranking of my favorite horror endings. That was in there. Yeah, so I mean, I loved the first Saw. Don't really love the other ones that I saw, which it was only 2 and 3. Because it was just getting repetitive for me. I'm seeing stuff recycled, and I wasn't feeling like new stuff was happening. However, I am a little bit intrigued to see this, mostly because Chris Rock is attached to this film. Another actor I love, more so for his comedic stuff, and I go back to him on SNL a lot. That was like my time period of watching SNL, early 90s SNL that's what I grew up with. Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and Phil Hartman and Mike Myers and all those guys. Loved them. Yeah, that was my era of SNL for sure. That and the original, the old 70s SNL too. I mean, I first watched the old 70s SNL on like Nick at Night when I was like 10 because my parents would love to watch that. So we watched it with them. Those old SNL Nick at Night. Is that still around on Nickelodeon? Do they still have Nick at Night? I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, he was part of my era of SNL for sure. early to mid 90s. That was my favorite period of Saturday Night Live. Yeah, just saying. I know it has nothing to do with Saw, but anyways, what do we got here? Hilly Billy Man is chatting. He's chatting room. Yeah, we saw that. Darren Lynn Bousman is back for Spiral. He directed Saw 2, 3, and 4. He didn't direct the first one though. Mind you, I think it was the director of The Conjuring that directed the first one. Again, The Conjuring was a well-made movie. It's just I didn't like. It's not my story. It's not my kind of story. Yeah. So I'm sure he's a great. I think he's a great director. And what's the name of that director that directed The Conjuring and the first Saw? Put it in the comments. I'm bad with names, guys, especially as I get older. Just hasn't really made a movie that's for me since Saw. Yeah. Anyways. So, Spiral, interesting. James Wan, that's the name. Thank you so much, Hilly Billy Man. You are a lifesaver. Bad with names. I don't know what to say, guys. Once you hit 40, it's like, oh, remembering stuff is so hard. My memory actually started going downhill when I hit 30, though. I have to admit that. When I hit 30, that's when it started. And now it's just gotten worse. What can I do, eh? Yeah, so what do you guys know about this new Saw spin-off? It's like about the book of Saw. Is it like another... I'm guessing it's not a sequel. We can't call it Saw 7 or whatever they're up to now. Because Jigsaw was Saw 6, I think. I don't know. There's so many. Again, I stopped after 3. So it's not a sequel, though. I don't think it's the book of. It sounds like what I would call a spin-off of some kind. I don't know. Maybe it's just a reboot or a reimagine. No, I don't think that would qualify as a reimagining. I know it's not a remake, though. Better not be. Yeah, you guys don't know much about Saw. At least Hilly Billy Man doesn't. But if any of you guys in the chat do, hey, drop some info. Yeah. It's Wednesday. Yeah, or a prequel, a spinoff, or a prequel. Interesting. Anyways, let's move on here, guys. Still got a few more things I want to talk about. A few more films that we got to chat about. Okay, this one we're going to spend some time on here, guys. And that is the new reboot or remake. I don't know what you want to call it. I just call it a reboot of Resident Evil. So let's talk about this. Now, as I mentioned that I'm not into ghosts and demon possession, paranormal stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm also not into zombies at all. Zombies are kind of like that. They bore the crap out of me for the most part, okay? I can appreciate your classics like Night of the Living Dead, The Last Man on Earth. Those are classics. I guess the original Dawn of the Dead. They are great for what they are, but again, zombies just don't scare me, They just don't do that for me. But I can appreciate the movies and get some fun out of them. I even got a kick out of the remake for Night of the Living Dead from 1990. I enjoyed it. Didn't find it scary at all, but it was, and I saw it when it first came out. I was probably still 10 years old when I saw that movie, and it still didn't scare me. Now, when I'm talking about Resident Evil, though, I was a fan of the video game. The original video game, I believe, for PlayStation, which I never owned a PlayStation, but so I'm going to spend some time on this movie here, guys. When I was 18, 19 years old, graduating from high school, I was in a rock band. I was, hard rock band. We'll say hard rock band. We were forming a band at that time. We would jam at the drummer's house like pretty much every day after school. Myself, the drummer, and the bass player. And our bass player, Kurt, was really good at Resident Evil, I wouldn't say really good, but he was good at the game. He knew how to beat the game and all that kind of stuff. And so we would do that after band practice. We'd watch him play Resident Evil, and I just got so into the characters and the story that was there and the atmosphere of the whole game, even though there was, it was terrible video game acting back then. This is the late 90s here, guys. This is 1999 we're talking about. But, like Jill Valentine was an awesome character. And I loved the character. I loved Barry and I loved Chris. And when they're first announced back in the mid 2000s, I'm going to say, that they're going to make Resident Evil movies, I was like, yes. Even though I don't like zombies, I'm like, yes, because I just love the story. I loved the Spencer Mansion. I thought it was a great atmosphere for the game, and I think it would have been a great atmosphere for a movie. Now, that being said, I saw the first Resident Evil, and I was so disappointed. Did not like the Mila Jovovich character at all. I'm nothing against Mila Jovovich. I don't mind her as an actress. I just didn't like the character at all. All I could say was, "Where's Jill?" That Jill was so the protagonist for me in that first Resident Evil game, and I know I guess Claire became more of the protagonist in some of the other ones, but for me, Jill was the main character. And I'm really hoping with this new reboot, I'm not too optimistic. It looks like Claire is going to be the main character. That's what it looks like. I think it should be Jill. I just love Jill. I love Jill, and I wish that they would make her the main character, because she was the main character in that first game. And take it back to the Spencer Mansion. Get me that, give me that vibe. Give me that vibe, and I will be so down for this. But Claire wasn't even a part of the first game, so the fact that Claire is even in this, tells me that they're probably not remaking like the first game. I'm not saying you have to remake it exactly or anything, but give me Jill as your protagonist. Give me a lot of those story points where a lot of stuff gets discovered, about, Umbrella and all that stuff. I need all that. I need a good portion of that, anyways. I'm super glad that we're not going to see this Mila Jovovich character Alice anymore, because I just thought she was wrong. It was wrong. She was wrong. She was the wrong character for these movies, and I didn't like the Resident Evil movies at all. Yeah, that's what I gotta say. I really hope Jill gets treated well. That's all I can say. I really hope so. So once again, not a zombie fan at all. Not a zombie fan, guys, but I just really like the story of that first Resident Evil game, and I think you could potentially make a really, really great movie from it. You really could. There's so much potential, but I don't know. I know that they're gonna. I don't know. I still have hope. Do we know anything about this movie other than who's been cast? As you saw with that poster, it was. I don't think that's like an official poster or anything, because I don't think so. Anyways, could be. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, I want to see them do this justice. I'm actually excited for this movie because I think they're gonna try. I think they're trying. It'll definitely be better than those other movies. I better be. I really hope I come out of this and say, okay, they were pretty faithful for a lot of this stuff. You know, even if Claire Redfield is the main character, which it kind of looks like she will be, you could still make Jill a good strong character or something, or maybe and still have it take place at the Spencer Mansion. You know, if Spencer Mansion is not there, I'll be disappointed. I will be disappointed. I'm not gonna lie there, guys. I think you got to go back to the roots of that first game. You got to go back to the Spencer Mansion. It's imperative for me. I will be disappointed if there's no Spencer Mansion. I'm glad that Jill is gonna definitely get a bigger part in this, and it is that main, that main core of stars that we knew from the games, rather than Alice. I don't know. I know some people really liked Alice. I didn't. I felt like that was totally not what the games were about. They went so far, but the movies did well, guys. I mean, I gotta remember that too. Anyways, what are you guys saying in the chat? I'm kind of ranting a little bit. At the same time, I'm trying to remain optimistic that they're gonna do the right thing with this movie. I'm hoping. I'll say this though too. Wasn't quite feeling the casting on Jill as well. I'm so particular on Jill. You got to have the right person play it. But again, I haven't seen this person act before either. I guess she had a small part in Game of Thrones, which I've seen all of Game of Thrones. So I mean, I was a fan of that show. So I mean, I guess I've seen her before, but again, it was so small that I wouldn't even remember that. Anyways. Yeah, last Resident Evil movie was disappointing. I didn't see it. I didn't want to go see any after, I did enjoy Resident Evil Apocalypse and Extinction. I didn't see any of those either. They may have been good, but you know what? Again, if it ain't Jill Valentine, I don't really, and I don't know. I want the Spencer Mansion. If this is you rebooting the franchise, going back to the roots, I think you have to go to the Spencer Mansion. That's my thoughts, guys. Again, maybe I'm biased because I kind of grew an attachment just from watching my buddy Kurt play the video game. Like I'm actually really old school when it comes to video games. I go back to the 80s a bit. I still have my Sega Master System. After all these years, I still have it. I love it. It's what I love. Anyways, Resident Evil. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, my phone. Oh, yeah. It was a it was a typo. A phone typo. Funny, yes. Anyways, like Resident Evil is my jam. The movies, the Mila Jovovich movies are. I want to see Slaughterhouse. I want to see a Slaughterhouse movie based on the game. That would be kind of cool. There you go. Ooh, Slaughter. Yeah, you guys. That would be fun to see. I think Jill is in some of the Resident. Yeah, she is, but it's very mild, and it wasn't a good portrayal. It wasn't. They didn't write the character right. From what I only saw one of them that she was in, and I didn't like it at all. I can't even tell you the names. There was like 5 or 6 of them, right? So I couldn't even tell you which one it was. I think it was the second or third one, though. I think. But to me, she's supposed to be the protagonist. She is the protagonist of the first game. And she is the character you're playing, right? You were playing as Jill. I mean, you did have the option of playing as Chris, and so I would be okay with that. But I think the majority of people that played Resident Evil played as Jill, because the Jill version, I guess, was better. I can't remember all the details on that, but anyways, okay, she was in Apocalypse too. Okay, and then had blonde hair had blonde hair. Jill had blonde hair. Come on. I just hope they do her right. I just hope that even if she's not the protagonist, that she's a very strong character in it, and we get her the way we wanted to get her, even if she's not the protagonist. That's all I can say about that. Anyways, yeah, blonde hair. Eh? I didn't see that. Thank God I didn't see that. So let's move on here. Well, geez, it's almost 9:00 already. So, of course, we already know that we are getting a brand new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film as well. We don't know when this year it's supposed to come out. It is supposed to come out this year, though. It said it on the poster, coming out 2021. When? I'm going to guess it's going to be after the summer. Maybe during August. I don't know. We know not much about this film at this time. Me being such a huge fan of the original, obviously, I am really hoping that this movie turns out to be good. Going off of this poster, I've talked about this on the past before. I don't love the poster. I don't hate the poster either, but I don't feel a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe from that poster. I know it's very artistic, and it looks like somebody put a lot of thought into it. Well, I mean, it really looks like somebody put a lot of money into it more than anything else. I don't think that would be more appropriate in my mind. But it doesn't get me hyped for the movie. So October 2021 would be a good date. Yeah, it would be. I'm not even sure when the Resident Evil movie is supposed to come out as well. Like, we got really nothing of that other than the cast. The cast is all set to go. We know what the cast is, but I don't know the premise. Haven't seen. I don't think that was an official poster. You guys tell me if it is though. Is this an official poster for Resident Evil? I think those are the actors playing the characters, but it kind of is. It almost looks too amateur. It kind of looks a little amateur for me for an official poster. It looks like something fan made. I hope that's fan made. But it does look like it's all the actors in the characters. So, it was good. Yeah. So, anyways, going back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they've got a cast mentioned for this one as well. They've got a premise mentioned as they get like a synopsis, I guess you would say. Synopsis doesn't excite me, but does that mean it's going to be bad? I don't know. I hope not. But we'll see. We'll see. But again, they've mentioned all the cast, and they don't have anybody listed as Leatherface. Is kind of interesting too. However, they do have this older, bigger looking guy listed as somebody named Herb. I don't know if that's meant to be a misdirect of some kind. I don't know. He looks like he could play Leatherface. So yeah. Hey, Michelle Blasky is in the chat. Hey, Mr. Merlo, joining late, just getting out of work. Hey, no problem. Glad you could make it even for a few minutes, We're still going to talk for another 10, 15 minutes here, so I still got 2 more movies I got to talk about. And you can watch the other stuff on the repeat. You heard me kind of go on a bit about Resident Evil before. I'm talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre now, but I did chat for a bit about Resident Evil because I'm intrigued. And I'm concerned, but I'm intrigued at the same time. As long as it's better than Texas Chainsaw 3, well, that's 3D. You know, Hilly Billy Man, it's not exactly a high bar. At least not for me, it ain't. I think it will be better than Texas Chainsaw 3D. I'm pretty sure it will be. I mean, for me, Leatherface was better than Texas Chainsaw 3D for me as well, but just barely. And I'm not satisfied. I'll tell you that. I'm not satisfied. But yeah. Yeah, I think there's potential for it to be good. I don't know. I don't like that they're shooting in Bulgaria. I've said all this stuff before, so I won't go on too much about Texas Chainsaw Massacre because we've kind of talked about it. I am kind of interested in this Herb character, with whether that's going to be Leatherface or not. Again, I looked at the picture of the guy on IMDb, and I'm like, that could be your Leatherface. If you are going to cast an older Leatherface, this guy works. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The actor playing Herb, apparently. Again, I could be a good Leatherface. We'll see. I would take this guy as an old Leatherface long before I would take that skinny little kid that played Leatherface in the last movie. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. All right, a couple more things I want to talk about. Yeah, and there's other movies, too, that are coming out. It's just, these are the ones that I'm kind of interested in a little bit. But you guys can tell me in the chat, which ones are you interested in coming out? It can be any. So we've also got, of course, we've got Halloween Kills is supposedly coming out. We talked about this not too long ago either. So do we really need to talk too much about Halloween Kills? I just hope it actually comes out this year. I hope all these movies come out this year, guys, but who knows? Who knows? Let's hope things get better. Yeah. They're all scheduled to come out this year, so I think there's a good chance. Cheaper to shoot in Bulgaria. Yeah, that's what I've heard is the big reason for shooting there. In fact, I heard that they actually pay you to shoot there. I could be mistaken on that, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. They're shooting in Bulgaria, whatever. It's not Texas. And Leatherface in 2017 was clearly not Texas. So why keep shooting in Bulgaria if you can't make it look like Texas? It just doesn't work. I don't know. Anyways, we're talking Halloween now. We're supposed to be anyways. I won't talk too much about this because, I talked about it not last week, I think the week before. I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be good though. It does look like it's going to be good. And this is also coming out in October as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you think Halloween Kills is going to be really good? I do too. I do. So this was supposed to come out last year, obviously, and they pushed it to this year in October. It was supposed to come out October last year. Now it's coming out October this year. I'm not sure. I think it's October 15th, if I remember correctly. Hopefully my memory is serving me good now. You've heard me complain about my bad memory throughout this entire show, so yeah, it should be good. It's one of my most anticipated films. But again, I was pretty high. I had high expectations for the 2018 one, and was a little bit let down. So I'm trying to temper my expectations. I didn't hate Halloween 2018 or anything. It didn't meet the expectations I had. But there's potential for greatness there, and I think there's potential for this to be really good. Halloween Kills October is correct. Thank you, Brett Man. Thank you so much. yeah, we all hope it's good. Hope it comes out October 15th. Hopefully everything stays the same. I think it will. I think it will. They'll stick to that. Apparently, there's some more news coming. I think tomorrow. I heard some more news about Halloween Kills. So definitely check the internet for that. I don't know if it's just more footage or some promo shots. I heard that some sort of news is coming out tomorrow. Let's hope it's good. Good. Leave it at that. I got one more film I'm gonna just talk about briefly, and I'm mentioning this because it is my most anticipated film of the year. It's not even a Hollywood film. It's a fan film. So, I mean, I had to at least mention this because it is coming out this year. I'm a huge supporter of it, and that is It's Me, Billy, by Dave McCrae and Bruce Dale. Not even a feature-length film, but it is what I'm actually most excited for, I have to say. Even though I have some concerns going into this as well. But I love the original Black Christmas so much. And I hate both remakes so much. And I really hope Dave and Bruce really knock this out of the park just to show Hollywood that this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You don't need $1 million, $10 million, $20 million, however much they make them in Hollywood for. You got Dave and Bruce made this. It's a short film, mind you. Mind you, Dave said it's longer than they thought. Not feature length, but on his show the other day on his on McCrae Live, definitely subscribe to Dave McCrae's channel if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have, but Dave McCrae does a great live show. He's one of my YouTube idols, I guess you could say, and he's a fellow Canadian. Different area of Canada than me. Joe from Fangoria Faithful is also Canadian. You're kind of in between us. Anyways, I think you're actually closer to him, though, than to me. I'm West Coast boy. I'm a West Coast boy. Not totally West Coast, but fairly West Coast. Anyways, what was I talking about? Lost my train of thought. It's me, Billy. That's right. I do have a little bit of concern. I've mentioned those before on the show. But at the end of the day, I think that they've got it. I think they're going to show us something I'm going to be excited for. Again, it's because I love the original so much, and I really did hate the 2006 remake, and I won't even go and see the 2019 one. Because I just know. I've saw it. I've seen the movie without even seeing it. I saw it all in the trailer. I saw everything in the trailer. I saw the whole movie in the trailer. So I won't go see it. And, I hope that, that Dave and Bruce teach a little something to Hollywood. I hope this actually gives more credibility to indie filmmakers. To show that that you can make a short film for $60,000 and make a great product rather than these Hollywood movies that cost tens of millions of dollars and they end up being hated. It's there's a message there to be sent. I think there is a message to be sent to Hollywood, and I don't know. I think this could be the one that really does it. I mean, Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow, whatever, they did it as well. There's been no Friday the 13th movies coming out, but there's a ton of fan films, and I almost wonder if who I know the rights for Friday the 13th are kind of all over the place right now. Maybe nobody wants to make a Friday the 13th. No studio wants to make them because all these Friday the 13th fan films are so good. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways. Hey, Chris Snyder's in the chat. Chris, we were talking about you earlier. We didn't really talk about you, but Chris, you should see, I think it's this one. Ooh, check that out. Aren't you a fan of The Crow? A little bird told me. You gotta link her social media is in the description. It's Michelle at Breathless Beauties. She's making something nice for Brett Man. I don't know if she still has that one, but again, she could probably custom make that as well. Just saying, I know you're a big fan of The Crow. She does all kinds of awesome horror themed dolls. So yeah, since you're in the chat, I didn't realize you were in the chat. So thanks for stopping by, Chris. Thank you so much. What was I talking about? Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Just really excited for this movie. I know it's coming out in the spring. I backed their Indiegogo campaign. I hope you guys did too. Dave said he might do another Indiegogo campaign. I'm not sure. I don't think he necessarily needs to. I mean, they've got the movie made. Maybe just for, I think just for the fans. Really, he said he would do an Indiegogo campaign for anybody that didn't get a specific perk that they wanted. I think that's cool. I think that it's cool that he would do that. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to say about that there, guys. So we'll it's about that time again where we have to say goodbye. But please do, if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button in this area somewhere. It's there. It's around there. And we'll catch you on the flip side. I'm not sure when I'm doing next week's show. I'll have to figure that out because the schedule is all over the place. But we'll figure out someday next week to do a show. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or something. I don't know. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Please make sure to tune in to Heather Loves Horror, her channel. I'm going to be doing an interview on her show. I'll be interviewing tomorrow, and I'm not sure when she's posting it live, but because it's not a live show. But tune into her channel and check for that. I'm looking forward to that interview. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are awesome. You have a good night, and you guys listen to some Merlo.